everyone's wondering, waiting, and just watching to see what Caleb Williams turns into this year. But Bears Wire actually poses the question: are the Chicago Bears set up the best long term at the quarterback position in the NFC North? We're gonna talk about it all and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. We got Bobby, C-Dub, myself, Haize in the building. Feels like it's been a minute since all three of us were together at one time, bro. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, but we back.
That's me. My head been everywhere the last 2 weeks.
No, remember it was C-Dub the other day when we were trying to go live. It was just me and you. So, But shout out to Bobby. First of all, we got a graduate in the building. Y'all give Bobby some love for being black excellence. This man is a great father, a great husband. He went out and graduated. He was in the military. Y'all spend some time hyping this man up because he deserves it. Great man, great father. Glad to be
associated.
Know
it's crazy? I got to take a damn certification course in 2 weeks for 6 months.
That's crazy. That's funny. That's funny. Right back in it.
Don't
That's
stop.
crazy.
Hell yeah.
That's crazy. Bobby's a great person. Great, like I said, example of a black man and everything. And then you got C-Dub. No, I'm just playing C-Dub. Shout out to Dub. Much love to C-Dub, bro. The OG. We love C-Dub around this motherfucker, man. But we got an article over here from it was written by Vincent Parise over on Bears Wire, and he posed the question: are the Bears the best in the NFC North at the quarterback position in the long term? We're gonna talk about the article as much as we can here, give our own thoughts on it. But he poses an interesting question, right? You got Jared Goff there, who's really kind of on the come up, right? But you talk about long term. I could see where you give the Bears there, right? If Caleb Williams continues to develop, the biggest question I think if you're looking at long term comes down to Jordan Love, JJ McCarthy, and how you view Caleb Williams. So, fellas, throwing this question to you: do you think there's a chance that the Bears are the best long term at the quarterback position in the North?
I think it's unquestioned, and I know everybody thinking like, "Yo, here come the homers," but I think it's unquestioned. Look at what Caleb Williams been through last season with 15 offensive coordinators, 28 different play callers, an offensive line that gave up the most sacks in the league. He was spectacular to me with 20 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Look at the landscape of the division. You got Jordan Love, who I think is a little bit too much of a risk taker, and he may have hit his ceiling. And that's pretty good. He's pretty good, but he may have hit his ceiling. And then you look at J.J. McCarthy for the Minnesota Vikings. He's coming off an injury, and he's a rookie. I know that the coach is a very good coach, and what he did for Sam Darnold is fantastic, and it's noteworthy. But this is a rookie. Sam Darnold is a seasoned vet. He has seen quarterback action on the field. JJ has not played the pros yet. And then when we talk about the Detroit Lions quarterback, Jared Goff, he's going to be doing it without Ben Johnson this time. And the last time he did it without Ben Johnson, he got kicked out of town because they couldn't win the big game, and they ended up being right because Matthew Stafford was the difference in the Los Angeles Rams winning that championship. So let's see how good Jared Goff is going to be without Ben Johnson. I'm saying yes, Caleb Johnson is the best quarterback going forward in the NFC North.
Hey, I guess that's a great way to call it, Caleb Johnson.
Williams,
I ain't mad at it.
Williams,
Ben Johnson, Caleb, let's get it. Caleb Johnson, I'm all for it. But I think it's just an interesting thing for me as well. I think that obviously Caleb Williams still has to prove himself. I think that last season with all the turmoil, I think you could chalk it up as a solid season. He did have his shortcomings, but I think that we seen some examples of him being capable. Now it's just going to come down to, can Caleb Williams grasp all of that talent and then display it on the actual football field. I looked at a couple of things from last season. My man led some comebacks that virtually failed simply because one part of him, but then also the damn coaching staff just being idiots. We talk about him leading the Chicago Bears back versus the Minnesota Vikings and losing into overtime. Then you talk about the Washington Commanders. That was a comeback that could have been a win on the record. Then you talk about the Green Bay Packers, where he led that. And if it wasn't for a blocked field goal, the Chicago Bears win that game. Then you talk about Detroit Lions. My man's Caleb Williams is driving down the field. Larry Borum somehow forgets he was an offensive lineman. Boom, you get the sack, and then you already know Matt Eberflus with his clock management. That didn't happen in front of everybody and ruined Thanksgiving. And then on the Colts game, Caleb Williams did have a fumble in that game, but then it was also some questionable play calling as well, with saying, hey, Doug Kramer, we know you're offensive lineman. Do you want to go out and try to be a fullback right now? Yeah, we're going to hand you the rock off too, instead of just having your big body go in there and block. So there are some examples. Obviously, Caleb has to go out there and prove himself, but I like the outlook and to include some of the reasons that C-Dub brought just real quick. Jared Goff, I think he's a solid quarterback. I will put him the best in the division right now, but we know what he is. Really, really good when he has time, bottom of the league when he doesn't have time, and that's not the end all be all, but that's what it is. Jordan Love, I've been saying it for the last few seasons. He's a bit too erratic for me, and right now they trying to see if he can be a consistently good quarterback in Green Bay.
I mean, you laid it all out there. I mean, it's really just that simple when it comes down to, like, Goff. No, just not to take away anything for what Goff did. Over 4,500 yards passing last year, amazing. Yeah, I think he was second in the league in overall passing yards last year. Like, we know what Goff can do, but it's gonna be really interesting to see what that team looks like with all the offensive line changes without Ben Johnson. It's gonna be really interesting to see what that looks like. Jordan Love. Jordan has showed himself so far to be a perfectly solid starting level quarterback in this league, but nothing that you look at and you're saying that Caleb can't be better. He's going to have to go out and prove it. So I think it does come down to, like, all right, what can JJ be once he gets that opportunity, and does that change the future outlook? Caleb is in a position right now where a lot of that he needs to answer this season. There's a lot of up and down from his own play and from the performance of the offensive line last year, but he still had a solid enough stat line. He just got to go out there and prove some things. I thought this was a really fair question to poise, and one that I hadn't really thought yet. I've been so caught up in the now with this team and who they need to prove who they are now going into the season and stuff like that. But, like, there's no reason to think that Caleb Williams can eventually be the best in the division in 1, 2, or 3 years from now.
And just look at the assistants or the advisory or the consigliere of each quarterback in a division. Who, like, it ain't always the offensive coordinator or the quarterback coach. Sometimes it can be the head coach, like Ben Johnson. I would say he's the guy in Caleb Williams' ear. It's probably different when you go from each team. Who are you more comfortable with being the consigliere of your quarterback in any one of those guys in this division?
I have to say, what that word was, huh?
And I watch everybody sing Godfather. What the hell are you talking about?
You must have been just watching it.
That motherfucker said, let me bust out this word real quick. I'm like, now he just used it twice in a 3-minute time period. All right, I see what C-Dub do. Go ahead.
But aren't we the more comfortable with the quarterback whisperer and Ben Johnson than any other quarterback in this division?
That's a fair question. I think, yeah, Ben Johnson does a lot, and then not only that, like, you still got the guy who could be the next Ben Johnson and Declan Doyle there.
Yeah,
I think people are really overlooking the importance of having Declan Doyle there. Like, the fact that, like, he probably got the offensive coordinator job a year or two early, but what that basically meant is that a team can't come in there and swoop him and try to get him and unless they're going to make him a head coach early. So I think having those two offensive minds together. And I think Declan is going to have a voice in here. I think we're going to have a very creative offense. And Caleb Williams is in a situation where if he doesn't develop under these two offensive minds, I don't know what to say at this point, bro.
Yeah, I'd be highly upset if Caleb Williams don't come out and ball out and have years and years ahead of him for his career. But I will throw in Kevin O'Connell, man. He just look. And I'm with everybody. I don't know what JJ McCarthy's gonna be like, but this man had Nick Mullins looking competent. The astronaut Josh Dobbs looked competent. And then Sam Darnold just got $100 million. Well, me and Steve-O was like, hey, Sam Darnold, you got $100 million. You should be sending about 20 of it at least to Kevin O'Connell for how he helped you resurrect your career. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
So okay. So is you picking Ben Johnson or is it Kevin
I
O'Connell?
gotta see it as a head coach. I think that like I love a lot of things about Ben Johnson. If you look at his record within the division, he whooping everybody. That's just, but that's as an offensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? I want to see him if he's able to take the reins over as a head coach, because we seen, you know what I'm saying, we looked at Matt Eberflus, like, yeah, you're a good DC, but you're a terrible head coach. Now can you go out there, Ben Johnson, and be not only be a good OC, but now run the ship as a head coach, and you're gonna call plays now too? Look, I trust him. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he has given me any reason not to. But again, put it on wax. You gotta show up, bro.
He got right now, of course, everything we're talking about is on paper, but Caleb got a lot of things he needs to show and prove. And I'll say there, like, this whole division in a lot of ways this season, every quarterback in this division has a lot to prove. We talked about Goff, what he needs to prove now with not having Ben Johnson there, changes to the offensive line. JJ McCarthy, he got a lot to prove. This is his first year coming in as a starter. Jordan Love got to prove that he's not going to be a weasel out there every time.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a shot, but fuck him. And then Caleb got a lot of questions. Like, Caleb, I want to make no mistake about it. We're talking about Caleb positively, and this may seem homerish, but like, Caleb got to prove he can process things down the field. He can be more accurate. He can attack the middle of the field. You led us on some fourth quarter drives that ended up not being successful for various reasons, but can you do that now in a season that everybody's looking at you to do that? So Caleb has a lot that he still needs to grow at, but C-Dub brought up a great thing, like looking at Ben Johnson and that part of it, it gives you a lot of confidence in we're going to know exactly who Caleb Williams is, and I don't think it's going to take 8 games into the season. I think we're going to see a renewed and new focused Caleb Williams, and by week 5, after that, well, week 6 is by week 5. Week 6, I think we're going to see a Caleb Williams that really has a full command of this offense, if not before then.
And I agree with you, Drip, but I just don't like the vibe when it comes to Caleb Williams. It's like he had a bad season last season. Don't it feel like that? All the criticism on Caleb,
yeah,
like he was awful.
As a quarterback, when you win 5 games, though, I think that vibe's going to be like we talked about. It's not all on Caleb, but wins and losses are looked at as a QB stat. It's when teams win a lot of games, they get so much of the praise for it, even if it's other things. When they lose a lot of games, they get an unjust amount of the blame too. That's just part of what comes with being a quarterback. I think when you talk about like people talking about his season as if it was disappointing, I think the team success plays a big part into that as well.
And that's something that I can't argue against the win-loss record. But it is context into the way the season goes. We know that. We covered it all season. Sure. We know that the incompetency with the coaching and some of the plays with some of the players and Caleb Williams. But I'm gonna just ride with it. But I don't see the bad play in Caleb Williams that everybody continually talk on Twitter. I'm not talking about on this panel here. That people talk on Twitter and all the social media accounts. I do not see the bad play you guys talk about.
Yeah, but you know what? You can't, because when people talk on Twitter and social media, they would look at Jesus and be like, "Oh, so you only turn the water into wine? You didn't turn it into gold? He just turned it into wine. That's all. That's not that impressive, my nigga. You only turned it into wine. That's the world that we live in now, bro."
Yeah, that's definitely the world that we live in, bro. It's just, I mean, but that's the territory that comes with being a quarterback, simply because, like, you seen how great Jaden Daniels was, got him to the NFC Championship game. So a lot of people is going to compare it to that. And then when you look at the previous year, you see CJ Stroud hit the ground running and have a really, really good season. They kind of shitted on Bryce Young too. And then so I say that's what comes with the territory. But with that, people don't really come right back around unless you start to win football games, because though Bryce Young didn't win a lot of football games at the second half of the season after he got benched, he looked like he belonged. But so now for the people that actually watch the game and follow the different teams and not just one team or go for the hot take, you looking at Bryce Young like, all right, we seen that you're capable now, but now can you go get the wins? And they give him that type of respect, but it ain't gonna happen if the Chicago Bears, with their history, and if they don't go win football games.
Yeah. You gotta win football games, bro. Especially when the Chicago bias is real, bro. Like I don't care what nobody says. It's not just me being a homer. You look at the way that the national media be ready to shit on the Bears, bro. Like real talk. Most quarterbacks that had the season that Caleb Williams had, even if they didn't win, that they more so be talking about it as, the quarterback showed a lot of promise. We're really excited about what he can do coming into year 2. But Chicago Bears quarterback is, Caleb. Hey, listen, Caleb. We don't like his body language. We don't like the way that he got himself off the floor after getting sacked 68 and being hit over 100 times. We don't like the way he got off the floor.
Yeah,
like
bro.
it's that type of shit, bro. And that's why like all these motherfuckers, bro, like it just at this point the national media is what it is, bro. They looking for clicks the same way some whack ass content creators are. You just got to take the good with the bad, bro, to be honest with you.
You absolutely do, man. And I think that, hey, you just look at it and you take it for what it is. Because, hey, before Jared Goff was, held to this high standard, Jared Goff was viewed as a throwaway before he, ultimately showed what he can do in Detroit. That's why he was, because the number one topic when he was traded away from Los Angeles is he's just not that good. He's not going to be able to do it. We have a bunch of questions, and they made the right decisions. And now people are saying them, hey, he can get the Lions to the Super Bowl, but can he win it? Is going to be, what's been discussed lately for him. And Jordan Love, hey, people thought I was crazy and hate, but I told y'all the man, he is a roller coaster ride. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
then now the question is can he be a consistently good quarterback for an entire season? That's what we like to base a lot of our analysis on, and that's what I've been holding on to for a while.
And I'm not saying that Jordan Love can't, get his shit together and be a good quarterback. If what I've seen from him now, he's much risk taker, bro. Like sometimes he just throw it up, Hail Mary sometimes, bro.
Shit,
I mean, he's a gunslinger, but I mean, when you really look at the history of the Packers, that kind of is like what their quarterbacks just excel. I mean, that's the type of quarterbacks they typically have there. I think when it comes to Jordan Love, for me, Jordan Love just in the big moments, do you trust Jordan Love yet? And I'm not a Packers fan. I hate the Packers. I don't watch a lot of Packers football, so I'm not going to answer that. But Packers fans, it doesn't seem like they all the way trust Jordan Love in key moments yet either. He has a lot to prove there. So does Caleb, though.
Yeah.
But it seems like that's the thing with Jordan Love. He has to prove he can do it because that playoff performance last year, my boy,
terrible. He was terrible. That man was 20 for 33 for 3 interceptions.
That's crazy.
Like, it was terrible. And then Jared Goff, look, he's able to win you some games, but we got examples of him faltering out as well. And that's not to say that quarterbacks don't have bad playoff games, because it's even some of the greats. Peyton Manning has had bad playoff games. Tom Brady has had bad playoff games. But can you lock in and say, fuck it, I'm going to take this chip, or hell with it. It's 2 minutes left on the clock. We about to go win this game. I haven't seen that out of a lot of quarterbacks, at least within this division, more consistently. They can do it, but it needs to be done consistently. And that's what Caleb Williams has to live up to if he wants to be the number one in this division. For me, it's not always about stats. People fall in love with a lot of stats. And I would say, what does the stats match up with what the film or the game is telling you? So it's Caleb Williams. He got a lot to prove. I think he got a lot to prove. He got to be able to go out there. And I want to see him, if he answers the bell in November and December. He can have a hot start to the season, but once it gets tough in November and December, after, leading up into the playoffs, are you playing good, meaningful football? That's what I'm going to be anxious to see.
Who is that, nephew? Which one of these quarterbacks is the ones with the most to prove in this division? I think it's Jared Goff. I think he know this eternally, that the Los Angeles Rams did that to him. And now everybody thinks that Ben Johnson is his career. Ben Johnson saved his career. Now he's going into another phase of his career without Ben Johnson. He has pressure on himself to be a competent quarterback like he's been the previous 2 to 3 years with Ben Johnson. I think it's Jared Goff with the most pressure out of the four.
It's been a minute since I cooked somebody, and y'all talking really good, sensible football here. And Steve-O's coming in, so the football conversation is going to get up a notch because Steve-O's one of the best football minds in the world. But hold on. Matter of fact, I don't even y'all give me 1 second, y'all, because y'all don't need to be on the screen to see this. First of all, do you guys know inefficient and ineffective quarterbacks. First of all, the fact that your dumb ass, that you don't understand that QBR is a metric only used by ESPN. It was, first of all, it was created by ESPN for them to have their own stat like they tend to do. Nobody uses QBR. In the actual football conversation, nobody uses the QBR grade. They use the quarterback rating, which is different from QBR. So that's the first thing. If you're going to come in here trying to have an actual football conversation, don't use my name because you're a junior ass thinking and you're a fucking dumbass. Then you can come in here with the even more dumbass comment talking about somebody's gay. If you want to date the man, then date the man. Like if that's your concern about somebody being gay, I don't give a fuck if Caleb Williams in his off time is eating man ass every single day of the week. I care about how he plays football. The fact that you worried about where another man sticks his penis at says more about you and your insecurities in life. How about you leave this dumbass bullshit? Because this is Chicago Bears Central. This ain't ESPN. This ain't the Windy City Breeze. This ain't none of this shit. I will cook your ass and fuck your mama. And then the next thing you'll be knowing is you'll be kissing your mama with my semen on her lips. Now you the gay motherfucker. How about that? Watch yourself, all right? And shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down. Now, I'm sorry. Let's get back to the actual football talk.
I don't think you want to fuck somebody that named their child Junior. I'm just saying, like,
it's been a minute since I cooked up, bro. I had to cook up real quick.
He told y'all he wasn't being nice to y'all no more.
I've been saying this for the longest. All I gotta say is you get a lot of information by what people name themselves. Your name is Junior Haize, nigga. That's backwards. You was a backwards ass nigga. Why your name, nigga? Junior supposed to be at the ending. That's the complete the fucking name. Your shit start the fucking sentence. Your parents are stupid.
But
God damn, shit.
But
I'm not being nice in 2025. I'm not being nice to you trolls, my boy. I'm not doing it.
Holy
it's
fuck.
crazy
Go
work.
ahead.
But C-Dub, I do agree with you. I think that Jared Goff definitely has the most pressure. And it's not only because they lost Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, it's because we trying to see if Dan Campbell is really like that.
Yes.
I'm also trying to see how you respond after losing your center and your Pro Bowl guard. I'm trying to see that. And from what I was told last season is y'all was going to the Super Bowl. Y'all got bounced by a rookie in y'all first playoff game at home, and you were atrocious. You were atrocious. 3 interceptions in that Commanders game, and somehow, some way, all the Detroit Lion fans blaming Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson ain't out there throwing the football. Like, what the fuck?
No.
Crazy work.
It's crazy how all the Lions fans are pissed about Ben Johnson leaving, and now all of a sudden he's bad when they was just praising his singing his praises before that. But go ahead, Steve.
It literally went from y'all have no fucking chance of getting Ben Johnson.
Exactly. They didn't want him anyway.
Well, I don't even know why y'all put so much stock on it. He's really the head coach. He's the first time head coach. So that's something. Like, bro, y'all some contradictory motherfuckers, bro. But I think it's like different type of pressures because I feel like equally the Weasel got the same amount of pressures because your ass got a good enough team and had multiple ample opportunities in the past to make a real stance in the playoffs, and he ain't done it yet. If not, he's been embarrassed than most of them. So, like, yeah, like I get it with the whole thing with Jared Goff. I feel like that's more pressure. Well, aside from the terrible performance in the first playoff game, all the other pressure is based on what his team did to him. That team completely collapsed on him versus the media. I feel like the media going to be looking at Green Bay like, all right, you got wide receivers now. Your defense has been like that. You got a running game that's rivals some of the best runners in the game. Do something with it. Stop being, if you just take care of the ball, like y'all been saying earlier, because I've been listening. If you just take care of the ball, stop being erratic, as what Bobby is saying, you can win very crucial games.
So are you saying when you say they collapsed, you saying they lost like the coaches or the performance from the players?
I mean, it was like physically they collapsed, mentally they collapsed, and then off season everybody left.
Yeah,
that shit look like Rome.
I don't want to say what I think about Detroit Lions for real, just for the sake I won't jip my team, but it ain't looking good. All I gotta say, it's not looking good. They got talent, but the leadership,
it's gonna be
and continuity is not there.
It's gonna be tested.
Yes.
It's gonna be tested over there, and that's why I keep saying, like, I don't know how this NFC North is gonna shape out. I'm not finna jump off the ledge and say the Chicago Bears are going to win it, but I think that any team in this division, if they want it, they can snatch it.
I think they're
They
going
can
to get a lot.
absolutely snatch it.
I think they're going to get a lot of preseason predictions as them as the winner of the North, though. I
Oh,
think
they
they are.
already got it.
You
I
talking
think they
about-
are.
We'll see. We'll
talking about
see.
Detroit?
We'll see.
Yeah.
No, Chicago. No, I think Chicago's
No,
going to get a lot.
Chicago.
I don't know.
I think they will.
I think predictions now. I think people
They
aren't
did
going.
that last year.
Yeah, until they believe, they ain't gonna believe it till they see it with the Bears.
They ain't gonna
This
do
year.
it twice. They ain't gonna do it twice.
No,
They put all their eggs in one basket last year. That was the most positive shit we've heard the media talk about Chicago sports or Chicago football, to be so more specifically, since 2006. That's the most positivity I've ever heard. You ain't getting that again.
Yeah, I even heard that people putting the Vikings over them, even without seeing JJ McCarthy. I've seen a lot of that.
Which I
And
think
it's
is
okay.
criminally insane.
But it's
not
okay.
so.
Like, I'll
It's
be honest with
okay.
you, I think JJ is going to be good. I really do think JJ is going to have the tools to be a good quarterback in the NFL. But to do that year one is crazy.
Crazy
My,
work,
but
bro.
my trust ain't in JJ. My
Okay.
trust in is McConnell. That
That's fair.
motherfucker. He's
That's fair.
the best coach in this division.
Over Green Bay's coach, huh?
Yes.
Yes, I think he's Green Bay has too many weird weird moments in the playoffs where they lost, where he's knocked down the peg.
What has Minnesota done in the playoffs, though?
No, Minnesota ain't never had an all the way fixed up team for the most part.
I do think Green Bay, now that they finally got receivers, though, they gonna definitely be a team to look out for. I'm gonna be watching a lot of the division this year because Green Bay has a chance. Like I'll say this, much like the Bears eliminated the excuse of weapons and offensive line from Caleb, they eliminated the excuses of wide receivers for Jordan Love. Now it's on you, my boy.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
they gotta figure it out.
So
yeah, I like that they receiving core before they got the who did they get this year?
Matthew Golden.
Yeah, before they got the kid from college. So it's gonna be interesting. I still got my beliefs, but I'm gonna hold them inside for a second. I'm gonna hold them inside.
We're gonna be confident, but we're gonna see how it goes, man. We're gonna see how it goes. Any last thoughts, fellas, before we get up out of here?
Yeah, we get closer and closer. I get to
see
say this
Steve-O got
every
that fresh
time.
line, and you got that fresh new twist up too. I see you, my boy. I see you.
Funny as hell.
Nah, because I did that video this morning with with my shit in a ponytail. I said they gonna think I cut my shit. Let me hold on.
That's hilarious, man. But y'all can follow us at Shy Bears Central. Make sure y'all go and check out Steve-O and Bobby over NFL Central as well. They've been killing it over there, man, dropping the content very consistently, man. You guys can follow us at Shy Bears Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and or voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. We'll see y'all in the next one. Peace, y'all.